Breaker Crunchers, welcome to issue 62 of Crunchers, where we are going to be remaking in CGI, beautiful CGI, our first episode. With me, I have got Lance.
Hi, how's it going?
And I have got my brother-in-law who's visiting in town, and he actually goes by the title Nerdy Heathen on Instagram. Say hi, Heath.
Correct. Hi.
You didn't even
I think Heathen.
I didn't. I kind of blanked.
Heathen is a good.
We rehearsed it once. Don't expect a perfect performance after just one.
All right, let's fix this. Say hi, Heath.
Hi, Heath.
Oh,
oh, that's professionalism right there.
Well, we are hot off the heels of San Diego Comic-Con, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. So, first of all, we're going to jump into Fab or Flub like usual. If you don't know what this segment is, it's basically where we talk about the most recent headlines, and we decide whether or not they're fabulous or flubulous. So, first off, let's start off with some Marvel news, which is there's going to be a lot. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the big one, though. Marvel has released their slate of movies. So I'm going to pull up a little link here. My freaking alarm system every time. Anyway, they've pulled up their slate, and essentially what we're looking at is Black Widow May of next year, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show on Disney Plus in fall 2020. Excuse me. Eternals November 6, 2020. Shang-Chi February 12th. 2021, WandaVision in spring of 2021, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, May of 2021, a Loki show, then an animated show in 2021 called What If, Hawkeye show as well, and then November 5th, 2021, Thor, Love and Thunder. We're not going to have time to go into all of this, but I just wanted to get your guys' initial thoughts on this lineup. Fab or flub?
So, as far as everything in the Phase 4 that's been revealed, the one that I have most question of, and the one I kind of look at with like a raised eyebrow a little bit, is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Why is that?
Because Natalie Portman is taking over the powers of Thor, right? So she has been deemed worthy to wield the hammer. What does that mean for Thor? Like, is something happening for Thor? How are they getting the hammer back? Because Captain America took it back in the past with him. So I have a lot of questions regarding that in particular. It seems to be the one that's clouded in the most amount of secrecy. They said, hey, Natalie Portman's coming back and she's going to be the new female Thor. What does that mean? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the comic book that came out in the last few years that's about that, so it's hard for me to speak on it. But yeah, I'm going to say, like, all in all, Fab on the lineup. I do agree it's a little bit, there's questions. I have no issue with, like, the Natalie Portman playing Thor thing. I think that's going to be cool, honestly, especially because Chris Hemsworth is still in it. Like, I would have been really mad if it was a Thor movie without Chris Hemsworth. But I don't mind her being, like, Thor, you know what I mean? Well, she will be Thor. No, I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind her.
You're right.
Thor. I just want to know how that happens.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I'll get answers to my questions eventually, I guess.
Hopefully someday.
It's true.
Better not take 10 years like the last one.
Again, same thing. I don't really know anything about the comic book that's involved with this. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same thing. I'm not overly excited for it, but I'm not like angry it's happening or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm skeptical as well, but hopeful. I mean, overall, the Marvel movies have been very, very well done. So I'm not nervous about it, but I'm not like excited for it.
Yeah. What do you think about the lineup in general? Is it a fab or a flub to you?
Overall, fab. Yeah. I've been wanting a Black Widow movie ever since I saw the animated Avengers movie when I was like 15. Yeah, that was my first experience with Black Widow. I thought, holy cow, this is such a cool character. Yeah.
So
such a cool character.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. So I've got the lineup on my screen. You know what? Let me go ahead and just share so you guys can see it. Share my screen here real quick. But essentially, I just wanted to look at this list, and I wanted you guys to tell me, what are you most excited about from this list?
Heath, why don't you go first?
So, and for the listeners, it's the list I just spouted off. So, Black Widow, Falcon, Eternals, Shang-Chi, WandaVision, Doctor Strange, Loki, What If, animated TV show, Hawkeye, and Thor. So those are like what we're talking about. So since you're not watching on YouTube, I don't want you to be lost.
Right. For the TV shows, Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I think those two are just such a cool dynamic how they presented it in the show. And then for the movies, Doctor Strange. I've always loved Doctor Strange. He's always been such a cool character. So those two, I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. What about you, Lance?
For the TV shows, WandaVision, because I think WandaVision is the show that has the most amount of unknown to it. So Vision's going to be in it, but how is he going to be in it? There's just a lot of unknown on it. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I kind of have a feeling what I'm going to get. Loki, I have a feeling what I'm going to get. Same with Hawkeye. The What If thing, nobody really knows what they're going to get because it has nothing to do with the current continuity of the MCU.
Yeah, it's just meant to be a fun animated TV
show. Yeah. So that one, that one just seems like gimmicky to me. So I don't really care about that one. The movies, it would have to be Doctor Strange, just because I think that's the movie that's going to turn everything around on its head. That's the movie that's going to bring the horror element to the MCU, which is going to open the door for a movie that was announced with these movies that's not going to be part of Phase 4, but Blade. They're saying that Doctor Strange is going to open the door for Blade to be a possibility.
Yeah.
And with Blade, I think you get a whole new wealth of characters. I think that Doctor Strange is going to be the movie that could bring Venom into the fold as far as the multiverse is concerned. I think that you get the Blade. I think you can pull in Mobius, that's being played by Jared Leto. There's so many things that you could potentially do. I also think that the multiverse can also explain some of the Fox properties that haven't been released yet, like New Mutants, because it has that horror element. It could be put into a multiverse kind of envelope. So I think Doctor Strange can really put a nice little bow on everything and give us the universe that we've been clamoring for at this point it'd be 15 years.
Well, and even the multiverse idea could give, whether you love or hate the X-Men movies or you're mixed, which I'm mixed, some are great, some suck, but you could even say, yeah, that's part of the Marvel universe, just a different world. You know what I mean? Like, it's not part of the continuity that we've seen so far, but they could just, now that they own it, say, yep, that's part of this universe. It's just Earth, 742 or whatever. You know what I mean? So
and I don't think that it's lost on Marvel and Disney to put Loki directly after this movie, because I think Loki is exploring more of that multiverse idea.
Yeah, and I appreciate you working on the segue, but I got to give my favorite. So
it's tough when I can't see you and I'm not able to
Sorry, I still got the thing up on the screen. No, you're good. So I'm most excited TV show wise. I'm on the fence. I think I am most excited about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just because I think those two characters are really fun. But I actually am also one of the few people that loves Hawkeye, so I'm really excited about that as well. The Loki show, that is what we're going to talk about next. I'm just not really. I don't care about a Loki show. It's not something
the fangirls do.
But as far as movies, I'm most excited actually about the Shang-Chi movie. I really like Asian culture, and I also like the fact that the Mandarin is finally coming to the MCU in that movie.
That's a big deal. And I was torn. Cool. I was torn between Doctor Strange and that one.
Yeah, so
the Mandarin's a good character.
I'm not super duper familiar with Shang-Chi, but I'm pretty sure he's like a ninja, kind of. So I love that. I love that culture. So I'm excited about that. And then we get the Mandarin. It sucks that Tony Stark is never going to get to fight him unless they do something weird and bring him back. But I'm kind of okay with Tony Stark having that little ribbon from Endgame on his story, But you could bring in another Iron Man to fight this Mandarin or something, but I'm excited about that one. Shang-Chi is what I'm most excited about.
I don't think the idea of another Iron Man is too far-fetched.
Well, there could be another Iron Man, just maybe not Tony Stark Iron Man.
No. It won't be Tony Stark because they've all pretty much said that door is closed as far as Robert Downey Jr. But you have the avenue of Tony Stark's daughter. You have the avenue of Ironheart, which is I think her name is Riri or something like that. That could be a possibility if they wanted to introduce her, because they're getting a lot more into the younger characters as well. So I think that I don't have any doubt in my mind that a new Iron Man is going to be unveiled sooner rather than later.
No, a new Iron Man's coming, and I hope that Iron Man or Iron Woman, whatever, gets to fight Mandarin. Like we need to see like that. The Mandarin is like the Joker to Batman. You know, Iron Man and Mandarin. That's the main rivalry. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, like you were talking about, Blade's coming out, and I just want to say, people that are complaining about Mahershala Ali being Cottonmouth in Blade, they're actors. Okay, actors can play more than one role. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, and they're completely separate. They're completely separate things. We know this. If you're an MCU fan, you should know this by now. Marvel Television wanted to be part of the Marvel universe, and Kevin Feige gave them a big middle finger. So anything that happened in those TV shows is not canon. So let it go. He is probably the most talented black actor in the world right now. Like, the guy is amazing. What's that?
No, I agree. He's freaking amazing. He's one.
If you've seen the Green Book, he's the best part of that Luke Cage season 1.
Yeah, he was so good.
Yeah, but if you've seen Green Book, if you've seen anything that he's done, I mean, the guy has 2 Oscars, I believe.
Yeah,
Moonlight, he is phenomenal. My only complaint is I hope that he bulks up a little bit, because he's rather thin.
He's a little bit skinnier.
But I don't think he needs to bulk up that much. Like,
not much.
This guy is supposed to be able to go out and fight vampires, and I don't want to see, Edward from Twilight fighting vampires. I want to see.
Don't worry, he'll bulk up.
I want to see a little bit of girth on the dude. So
Chris Evans was, the Human Torch, and he was pretty thin in Fantastic Four.
But he still wasn't as thin as Mahershala Ali.
I don't know about that.
The dude's pretty thin.
I don't know.
So
anyway,
that's my one
as we were talking about, Loki was something we were going to talk about. So Loki has been confirmed to take place after the events of Endgame, I think to nobody's surprise. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and just start. I'm going to say I think that's a fab. I guess it's a fab because it wasn't surprising. Like, Loki died. So how are you going to do a Loki TV show unless it was a prequel? And I don't really think that they wanted to do the prequel side of things as much. So yeah, by Endgame, Loki grabbing the Tesseract and leaving, and pretty much creating an alternate timeline at that point. Now we can have a show with Loki. And I think it's cool.
So I agree, Loki died, but did he?
In that one timeline, yes.
So it's widely speculated that maybe he didn't. That he is a trickster. He's faked his death before.
Yeah.
I for one hope he's not, because I think the relationship between him and Thor, and for that matter between Loki and Hulk, I think is fantastic, and I don't want to see that end.
Okay, so what if they do this though? What if that Loki did die, and since Thor: Love and Thunder takes place after Doctor Strange, what if Loki from another Earth is now part of Thor 4?
I would be okay with that.
Because it takes place right before it. So maybe season 1 of Loki ends with him coming to Earth 1 or whatever this is.
That's plausible.
However, they would have to develop some instances to make Loki a better person, because from Avengers to the point where he died, Loki had some moments of redemption.
Yeah.
That he would no longer have those moments.
True.
So he might be a foul person. Still.
I don't think that'll be too far-fetched for him to develop that character, because although people didn't like him as the villain, I feel like his popularity progressively increased as his personality increased to trying to be a better person.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that's too far stretched.
Well, what do you think? Fab or flub that it's going to be taking place after Endgame?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not a huge Loki fan, but I never disliked him. He was always a fun character. So I'm kind of in the middle of Fab or flub.
Okay. What about you, Lance?
I don't know. I like the character, but I don't know if I need to see a bunch of alternate timelines that don't have any bearing on the main timeline. I'm not so sure about this tactic that Marvel is doing. I like the idea of an occasionally dropping in and seeing alternate timelines converge, but I don't know if I need to see 10 episodes of an alternate timeline that has no weight or anything on what's going to happen. Now, if they find a way to make this impact the main storyline, I'm all for it. I think that's a great idea, but I don't know. And I might be contradicting myself because just a minute ago I said Doctor Strange was going to be my favorite movie, and and now I'm saying F the multiverse. But I don't know, man.
I'm curious to see if my theory is going to play out because now I think Loki's so freaking popular. Yeah. I think that they might bring it back into the main timeline as just a different version of Loki. I mean, TV shows have done it before. It's kind of an annoying trope, but I think I like Loki enough that I'm okay with it.
I think if they were going to bring somebody back, it would be Black Widow. I think that if they would bring somebody back, it's going to be Black Widow.
I don't think so. I think you can get a new Black Widow.
I think the way she died and the fact that the entire team is pissed about her dying, because really, if you think about it, only one person is pissed that Loki died, right? Thor, right?
Yeah, no one else cares.
But the Black Widow, the whole team is pissed. You got some of the smartest minds ever. Like, you got the Hulk, who's a genius and who's in love with her, that I highly doubt is going to be okay with not trying to
figure something out.
I mean, the entire half of the population of the universe was returned except this one girl. Like, I think that as far as somebody returning, she has the most probability.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I agree. But speaking of returns, another character from a different company, though, DC, is returning to a role that he was in a long time ago. Well, kind of. Brandon Routh is going to be Superman again in the Crisis crossover that they're doing later this year. However, he's not going to be the Superman he was, basically the Christopher Reeve Superman, essentially, just like, later on in the timeline. He's going to be Kingdom Come Superman. And if you don't know what that is, it's like an alternate timeline Superman, which the CW shows have done a ton of multiverse, so this fits. And that's what Crisis is all about, is the multiverse.
Yeah, Crisis
but
Infinite Earths.
Kingdom Come is this version of Superman who essentially is disgruntled, kind of goes off and hides away in the Fortress of Solitude because he doesn't like what's happened to the world. And then eventually he comes out of hiding and saves the day. But he's just kind of this more grizzled, older version of Superman.
He's more of cynical.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is great. I think Brandon Routh is kind of weird for Kingdom Come Superman.
Ralph.
But I am excited. Ralph, sorry. Brandon Routh. Yeah, just like you're right, it's Taron Egerton. I figured that out finally.
Is it? Okay.
It is Egerton.
Is that a question?
I thought it was Egerton.
I thought it was Egerton too.
Yeah. I saw it was bugging me this week. I was listening to our latest episode and I kept saying Egerton or Edgerton, however you say it. I kept saying that. So I finally looked it up and there was a video of Taron Egerton saying, fun fact, it's pronounced Taron Egerton. And the interviewer had just said, introduce yourself, Taron Egerton. And then he literally was like, nope, it's Taron Egerton. And the interviewer felt so embarrassed.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a question. That's how I've been saying it.
Well, you were right.
Good for you.
So how do you say this? Brandon
Routh.
Anyway, I think it's going to be weird to see him more grizzled. Hopefully he can do it because his character as Adam in the CW shows is very bubbly. His Superman was fairly bubbly as well. So I say fab, but I'm skeptical.
So is this going to be a continuation from the Christopher Reeves story arc?
We don't know. I don't think so. It's Kingdom Come Superman. I don't think it's a
that was
continuation. But I guess it could be.
You could still do Kingdom Come Superman, but it could be a continuation from those 4 movies.
It could be.
Because
You're right.
Superman Returns is a continuation of Christopher Reeves, and
you're right.
That's originally why Brandon Routh was cast as him, because he looks so much like Christopher Reeves.
Yeah. You know what? That could be. It could be the same Superman. It could be that he just got disgruntled and pissed off. It's the same version. Maybe it is.
Because I don't understand why they would cast him then, if it wasn't.
Well, it's because he played Superman before, so it'd be fun to see him again. Plus, they already have him on their, list of actors.
It would be awesome. It would be awesome if at some point you see Henry Cavill and Batman, like in a coffee shop, Ben Affleck, in this show. Because
no way, I don't have the money for that.
Well, do we want to give a fab or flub on this thing, and then we'll talk about the other parts surrounding this?
Yeah.
So I think it's fab. Superman Returns. I actually like Superman Returns. So, and I like Brandon Routh. I mean, he's never done anything to make me not like him. So,
I agree. I think it's going to be a fab. I'm kind of like. Superman Returns wasn't my favorite movie. It wasn't bad, but I really like Brandon Routh. I think it's going to be really cool to see him as Superman again because he had that perfect look of Superman. So and he did a good job with the role. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. And he's not the only person. Now, he's the only one confirmed to be playing Superman again, but there's a rumor of another character that's going to be playing Superman again, and that is that Tom Welling potentially could be Superman again in this crisis. There's also a rumor that the Titans characters are going to be brought in. There is a rumor that, Linda Carter is going to be playing Wonder Woman. Personally, I think these rumors are all hogwash and none of them are true. So I'm just going to go ahead and say flub because I think that these are making me get all excited for nothing.
From the reports I've read, now, the Titans I can't speak on because no one's really come out and tried to dispute the fact that it isn't fake or that it is fake, I guess. But the Tom Welling and Linda Carter one, I would not be surprised if that would happen because Tom Welling's career has kind of been on a downslope a little bit. And
Linda Carter has already been on the CW. So
hers would be easy. Hers would be easy. But Tom Welling, I mean, he did a short stint on Lucifer, but other than that, what else has he been in?
He hasn't been in much. You're right. I think that Linda Carter and Tom Welling are possible. I just don't think it's going to happen. I would love to see that. In fact, if you were going to give me a Kingdom Come Superman, I would have rather it be Tom Welling because Tom Welling already kind of has some of that gray, and Kingdom Come Superman has a little bit of gray in his hair.
Still looks like Superman.
And he does. He's big.
Yeah.
Like Kingdom Come Superman. I'm going to just pull up a picture of Kingdom Come Superman here, and I'm typing nice and quiet for you, Lance.
Jerk. No, Tom Welling is still my favorite.
Share this.
Tom Welling's still my favorite Clark Kent.
No, he's great.
He did a great Clark Kent.
So right here is. Brandon Routh on the left from
Ralph.
Brandon Routh, Superman Returns, and then on the right here is what Kingdom Come Superman looks like. Here's another image of. Oh no, what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm looking. Oh, I'm on my freaking. I'm an idiot. I'm on the actual Hangouts. See, every time there's always technical difficulties. So there's another one of Kingdom Come Superman. At any rate, as you can see, he's got some of that gray in his hair. He's a little bit older, but he's also big. Brandon Routh is not big at all. So that's going to be a little bit of a disappointment, in my opinion. Tom Welling is about that size, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, I think it's cool that we're getting to see a character reprise their role,
Did you see Tom Welling in Lucifer?
No, I want to. I just haven't watched Lucifer yet.
The dude is jacked.
He was only on that one season, right?
One season, yes. He plays Cain of Cain and Abel.
Oh,
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good casting for him.
Yeah, no, he's Lucifer is one of my favorite comic book properties to ever be adapted into television ever. And speaking of, I hope I'm not going too far off the rails. It was just announced today that the season 5 has just added 6 episodes. So instead of 10 episodes, it's going to be 16 episodes.
Oh, and that's the end, right? They're ending it with season 5?
It's the end. Yeah. So Netflix sent out a tweet saying that there's more Lucifer that's going to be released in this last season. But yeah, you guys definitely should watch it. I mean, it's
things about it.
I've been meaning to. Kelsey and I just finished Stranger Things season 3, and we're looking for a new show to watch, and we might do Lucifer. We'll see. I keep hearing great things.
So I know we talk about it often about actors that have been cast as characters and like are the full embodiment of those characters. I mean, you could look at Hugh Jackman and Robert Downey Jr. and those kind of characters. Heath Ledger. But Heath Ledger is an embodiment of the Joker, of his version of the Joker.
Yeah.
I still think Mark Hamill's the best Joker that's ever been.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Tom Ellis plays that role so beautifully as Lucifer that no one else can ever play that character. Like, it's just that perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely watch it.
Okay. Well, have you guys given your votes? Do you think this is fab or flub on these rumors?
If they turn out to be fake, I'm going to say a giant flub. If Tom Welling returns as Superman and the other 3 don't, I'm going to give it a fab. And if all 4 of them do, then fab. So there's a lot of different things that need to come into play.
The more I hear about Crisis, though, I have to say this. Like, last year, their crossover was my favorite of the crossovers they've done because they had so few characters, so they were able to focus on all of them. And I loved it. Like, it was as if they had like a Justice League, for the CW, and I really enjoyed that. The year before that was just too much. The year before that was good, but there just wasn't as many characters yet. So I'm a little nervous about so many characters. I'm excited, but I'm hoping that if they're going to have this many characters, that it's going to be like a 5 or 6 episode story.
I think that's what they said. It's going to be like 6 episodes.
I hope so, because if they only did like 3 or 4 episodes, that's not enough for this. Like, not to me.
Yeah,
like, make it its own little series, essentially.
If Tom Welling's on it, I don't know if I'm going to tune in, or if he's not on it, because they lost my interest a while ago, and they have not done anything to get me back.
Well, I'll say that I can't even remember what it was called, but the crossover from last year, even if you just watch those 3 episodes, it was good. It was really good.
Was that Elseworlds?
Yes. Elseworlds was good. Like, you might be a tiny bit lost because it does talk about some of the stuff from like their own shows this past season, but it's pretty minimal. Like, you could honestly just watch those 3 episodes and get a really good story arc. And it's good. It's the best thing that CW did last year was those 3 episodes. None of their shows were that great. Arrow was okay. Supergirl was meh. Flash was atrocious. I haven't watched Legends for 2 years.
Let's clarify. None of the DC shows were that great.
Titans is incredible. Doom
no, the CW DC shows. If you're lumping in Supernatural over there, I'm going to come to Colorado and slap you.
I'm talking about okay.
CW DC.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Arrowverse. Okay. I haven't even watched Black Lightning. That's not Arrowverse. I've heard that one's great. I just haven't watched it.
I heard that one might be pulled into this too.
Last I heard, I saw this today. That's not the case. They haven't made it part of the Arrowverse yet, and they may not. So anyway, yeah. So what did you give your fab or flub?
Not really, but I'm honestly with you, Lance. That if all those good things happens, then definite fab. But if it's all hogwash, terrible flub.
All right. Well, let's move into. I want to talk about the Witcher Netflix trailer, but I know you're not much of a fantasy guy, Lance. Did you watch that trailer?
I did.
You did? Okay, well, let's talk about it then.
I watched it for the sole purpose of Henry Cavill.
Yeah? Well, what'd you think?
I love him. I don't know. It's all right. The last scene was cool where I don't know what was his eyes or something like that, when he's standing at the So I don't know. That's just not my era. Like you know that about me. Like
Yeah.
Game of Thrones and all that, like the dragons and like the Middle Ages and all that stuff. Like it's just not an era that I'm that interested in because I don't much care for the fantasy aspect. But Henry Cavill's in it, so I may watch it for that. I don't know. We'll see.
Heath and I think, both agree on this, that it looks outstanding.
It looks really good.
It looks cool. It looks cool. Like I think it looks really good. It's just I don't know how long it's going to keep my interest.
And that's not your genre, so it may not keep your interest at all. But so when I first heard about Henry Cavill, I wasn't sure what to think, and then I started coming around to it. Then I saw images, and I was like, dude, this looks really good. And then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, I am sold. I am like taking a day off work for this kind of a thing. Like, I probably won't, but it looks really, really good. And just for anyone that's familiar with the Witcher games, just know it's based off of the books, okay? And even then, they've said that it's not going to entirely follow the books. Like, they're using the books mostly for their
it's kind of a roadmap for the most part,
but they're still doing their own thing. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't care that much. Just from the trailer, it looks like what I want. Like, Witcher is a monster hunter. He uses magic. Yennefer is in it. She uses magic. Ciri is in it. Like, so these are like the main characters in the game and in the books. They're
Ciri
all
from Apple, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Different Ciri.
How may I help you?
That little blonde
Witcher,
girl.
would you like to cast the spell?
In the trailer, her name's Ciri, and in The Witcher 3, she's freaking awesome. She's like, she can use way more magic than Geralt, and she's not a Witcher, but like she is just as powerful as him. She's more powerful than Geralt, and Geralt's pretty powerful. So Ciri's awesome. So I'm excited for the show. It looks really good.
Yeah, I never played the video games and I never read the books. I didn't even know it was a book series until we watched the trailer. But my big thing that probably turned me into a nerd was Lord of the Rings, watching those movies growing up. So when I saw this trailer and I saw that Henry Cavill was a part of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is something I'm going to watch.
All right, since we're correcting pronunciations, it's Henry Cavill.
It is Cavill?
No, it's Cavill.
I'm blaming my friend for that because he told me it was Cavill. I knew it. That's what I thought. I thought it was Cavill before.
It's Cavill. Henry Cavill.
Okay.
Yeah, your friend sucks. No, just kidding.
Yeah, depends on the day.
Like, it looks really cool, and I'm into that fantasy stuff. I'm hoping that the Amazon Lord of the Rings show that comes out is going to be really good as well. But like, the more fantasy I can get, the better. Like, so Cameron, for you longtime listeners, he was one of the original hosts of the show. He and I did an episode about a year and a half ago now at this point, where we talked about nothing but fantasy, and I just loved that. It was so much fun, the two of us just chatting about fantasy.
It's our lowest listened to less episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Not true. But I know. But
grand total of 2 listeners, Max and Cameron.
Right. No, but I love fantasy, so give me all of that stuff. And a lot of people didn't like how Game of Thrones ended, myself included. But I will take all the fantasy that you can give me. There just isn't that much of it. Like, The Hobbit was one of the last movies that came out that I can think of that's like a really, really fantasy driven story. And that's been like 2014, I think, since the last one.
That was a while ago.
And I know there's been other stuff, but like, Game of Thrones is over now. Something needs to take its place because people like that. Clearly, there's a reason that those actors got paid so much money. So I think The Witcher is poised to take that spot. I think that the Amazon series that's coming out in a year or two is going to be good.
I might actually buy Amazon Prime for that.
Oh yeah, I've already got Amazon Prime. Speaking of which, The Boys came out today. I haven't had a chance to watch too much of it yet, but I know Lance.
Did it only come out today?
Yeah, it came out today.
Oh, I'm already on the 3rd episode.
I think today was the 26th, right? Yeah, today. It came out today.
No, I started watching it yesterday.
Then
maybe you're special.
Okay, maybe it came out yesterday. I thought The Boys came out today. I thought it was supposed to come out on the 25th.
Yeah, I was watching it last night.
Let's see. What does it have a release date on here?
Like at 8:30, I started watching it.
Well, that's probably why then. It's probably Eastern time.
Oh.
Yeah. You probably got to watch it at like 8 or 9 last night because it was released in the Eastern time zone.
Oh, yeah. I thought I've been behind.
No, you're not.
You're
behind.
ahead.
You're ahead.
Marvel has been pumping me with so much news that I was like, Amazon who? Yes. So, well, I had the opportunity to watch the first episode back in April or something like that with my buddy Eric. We got invited to a special pre-screening, and I walked out of that and I was pissed that I was going to have to wait 2 months to see anything more. What I will say about this is when I saw that first episode and then rewatched it again just last night, there's things that are missing. Like it's almost like I got more in that initial viewing than I got last night. And I don't know if that stuff's happening later or what, but the show is everything that you would expect from a Seth Rogen produced television show. If you're a fan of Preacher, if you're a fan of just bloody stuff, like this is the show for you. Like Keith,
for kids.
What's that?
It's not for kids.
It's definitely not for kids. They walked in the room last time, like, get the hell out! like I'm like, you cannot watch this.
I only got about 10 minutes in. I started to watch it before we recorded just now. And this is in the Red Band trailer, so this isn't a spoiler. But essentially, there's a part where this guy is holding hands with this girl that he really likes, and a speeding superhero runs through her and obliterates her into just a pile of gore. Like, it's disgusting. But like,
does it show in the trailer that he's still holding the hands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trailer shows that. Like, that's rough, man.
Yeah.
And that's like the basis of the story, and I think it looks so cool. Like, I know it's like a comedy, right, Lance?
There's a lot of humor in it because Keith Urban is absolutely hilarious.
But isn't it also like a story that's like kind of based in like, imagine if superheroes were real, they would cause havoc, and there would be real outcomes to this. There's
some social things in it about companies that get too big for their own, like they only worry about their own, like they have their own self-interest rather than how it affects the community.
Disney, cough.
But
sorry, I got a frog in my throat.
And then how to capitalize on the idea of superheroes. So yes, there is a Disney element there. But the show of itself, like, I think it's wonderfully casted. I'm so appreciative because so the main character is Huey, I think his name is, the kid that's holding the arms of his girlfriend. I think it's Huey. So
Jack
when the
Wade is the name of the actor.
Yeah, but what's the name of the character?
Huey Campbell.
Huey, yeah. So when that character was created for the comic book, because this is based off a comic book, they had Simon Pegg in mind to play this character. He looks like Simon Pegg. Everything about him is Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg was supposed to play this character. Well, now he's too old. So they cast him as Huey's father.
Yeah, I like that.
And he has an American he's my favorite actor. I'm pretty sure I've said that 100 times on the show. But they cast him as the father, and he has an American accent. And every time he speaks, I'm like, "What the? Something's not right here."
It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't sound right
every time.
Even just in the trailer, I'm like, "You guys should have just made his dad British." It's like, his dad can be from the UK, and then he moved here, and
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just I've only ever heard it one way, and
he's got a very unique accent. So like when you hear it, it's weird. I don't like it.
But every time he's on the screen, I kind of light up a little bit because I'm absolutely in love with Simon Pegg. I have his novel staring at me right there. Like, I bought his novel.
Nice.
That's how much I love him.
Well, yeah. So The Boys seems like it's pretty good. We're not done with it. I'm 10 minutes in. Lance is 3 episodes in, but figured we mention it since it just came out. So, and by the way, we didn't record this one live. So when we say today, it's the 26th today. So Friday. But
yeah, so I apologize for us not doing a live show. It's I had things going on. Max obviously has family in town, so we did not want to leave you guys hanging. So we're recording tonight. So Thank you for understanding.
Yeah, but let's move into talking about movies. But before we do, because we're talking about Lion King and Stranger Things 3 tonight, before we do, I want Heath to show us his gadgets that he got today. We went to this cool place here in Colorado called Bishop's Castle, and it's literally a castle that this guy built. That's kind of terrifying because it's like not up to code or anything like that. But it was cool. I like climbed to the top. But anyway, there was a gift shop. Than me. Yeah, there was a gift shop, and Heath got some cool stuff. So
I'll tell you about that, but really quickly, when we were down in like the main portion of it, and we could see up, and there was a bridge that he was on, and every step he took, it was just shaking with every step. We're just like, oh no, Max is gonna die.
I'm conquering my fear today because I am terrified of heights.
Just to let you know, Heath, when he's over there, I'm trusting you to put him in your care. And if something happens.
This is a bromance for the ages.
There you go.
Every day I'm like, is Max going to be taken care of today?
There you go. Well, luckily my sister is been very self-sufficient for most of her life, so I think
right.
A little bit of a background. I am a huge knife guy. I love knives. I love swords, and I'm from Scottish descent on my dad's side, but I don't have any Scottish weapons. And then when we popped into this little gift store, I'm like, oh, let's see what's there. They had some knives up there. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a look. And then I saw these pull up. Now, how you pronounce them, I don't know. But I've heard them called dirks, so I think that's one of the names for them. But yeah, they're just really cool Scottish-based names. I'm hearing my echo, so it's throwing me off. Some Scottish-based knives. Just a really cool history behind them. They would always carry them.
I just imagine like carrying them like in between my like fingers,
that one's small enough you could totally
and just like jamming someone in the freaking face with
like
it.
The Wolverine.
Wolverine claws. They're pretty cool.
Okay, so you tested them on your arm. Like, how easily do they get? Like, no, I'm just kidding.
Let's see, Max, hold still.
Not that sharp. I haven't.
They're pretty sharp. You can't shave with them, but that's what I always do whenever I get knives. I'm just like, can I cut my hair with them?
Yeah, you've got a pretty cool collection. Don't you have a samurai sword?
I do. It's actually for any anime fans out there. If you've seen Bleach, I'm horrible with names. So Ichigo, he calls the character Mr. Hattenclocks. I'm horrible with names, but it's his Zanpakuto's, not Bankai, the other one, the simpler one. It's that design of it. It's a pretty cool sword.
Yeah.
I have.
Don't you have a gunblade as well from Final Fantasy VIII?
I'm co-share that with Hunter.
Yeah. My other brother-in-law.
It's a gunblade from Final Fantasy VIII.
I married into good stock. Heath's super nerdy and owns all this stuff. My other brother-in-law, Hunter, you walk into his house and his mat says "Speak, friend, and enter," which is Lord of the Rings reference. I know, Lance, you're not cool enough to know that. And then he's got like Gandalf's sword.
We're not friends anymore.
Aragorn's sword. Like, dude, it's freaking awesome. I love their nerdy stuff. It's really cool.
But yeah, I have.
Yeah, me, I just collect toys.
And I see you have a bunch.
So we're going to start talking about movies. Heath, I need you to do me a favor. Go over to those lights and turn them off really quick.
Okay.
What are we doing? Is it a light show?
You'll find out.
When the lights go out, you better not turn them back on.
The one on the far right, turn that one off.
I don't want to see any private parts when the lights come back on.
Okay. All right. You can still kind of see me.
Worry,
go stand back over there. I need you to turn them back on eventually. All right. Now silence, everybody.
It's not mama bag of peaches Topanga.
There's penguins on the bottom. I wanted to wear some of those to the movie and just walk around to everybody and be like, look at these. And now we'll never get out of your head. And now you hate me. And now I'm happy. You have a lovely day. And then throughout the whole movie, through that full opening, they're just thinking, pink pajamas, penguins on the butt. Dang it. I didn't because I don't want to own a pair of those. But still.
Yeah, so we saw Lion King, the live action remake yesterday. I know you've seen it.
Live action.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it last weekend.
But so let's talk about it. What did we think, guys? And just if you listen to the show, you should know this already, but full spoilers. The rest of the show, we're going to be talking about full-on spoilers for Lion King and Stranger Things 3. If you haven't watched Lion King and want to listen to the Stranger Things 3 section, maybe skip forward about 20 minutes. But anyway, this is your warning now, so full spoilers.
Mm-hmm. Lion King by this point,
yeah,
kind of behind by about 20 years.
Lion King, there's not much to spoil. It's true,
right?
So, are we going to be talking about what we think of it as far as an adaptation?
Both, sure. What do we think of it as an adaptation? What did we think of it as a whole? I can go ahead and start with some of my thoughts. So, overall, I liked it. I think Jon Favreau is a really good director, and I think it was really entertaining. The cinematography was beautiful. The animation was top-notch for the most part. The music from Hans Zimmer, he basically redid his original score, but it was even better than before. Like, all of that was very good. And some of the voice casting was very good. Scar, fantastic. Mufasa was, James Earl Jones, but I think he actually did worse than he did the first time. But he still did good for the most part. Hated Simba. I thought Donald Glover was terrible. And I didn't love or hate Nala. Beyonce was fine. She wasn't good. She wasn't great. But I loved Keegan-Michael Key.
Mm-hmm.
He was awesome. And then I can't remember the name of the actress, but the female hyena, she was really good. So a lot of the voice cast was really good. Oh, Seth Rogen, except for the fact that he can't sing.
Yeah.
He was a terrible singer.
But did you notice how they played to that he can't sing? That was purposeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way they did it was to make fun of the fact that he couldn't sing. Like they didn't try to mask it and auto-tune him, like,
which isn't good for a.
I was appreciative of what they did with Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are like some of my overall thoughts. Like, for instance, with Mufasa, there were so many parts of this that were shot for shot the exact same. Lines were the exact same. And so there were a few times where James Earl Jones delivered lines in this one that were the exact same as the other one. And I was like, I didn't like the way he did that this time. But for the most part, he was good. Like, I hated him as Vader in Rogue One, but I didn't hate him as Mufasa. Like, he was good, just not as good.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
I hated it.
You hated it?
Yeah. So I have a lot of issues. The only good voice actors in this entire thing were Donald Glover and Seth Rogen. Everybody else sucked.
Was awful.
No. Donald Glover was great. He sang great. But every time Beyonce sung over him, you couldn't hear Donald Glover anymore. It was awful. Beyonce single-handedly ruined this movie. I hated her. Everything about her. I hated the two young kids that they cast as Nala and Simba. Hated them. I hated the hyenas. Every second of it, I hated it.
Really?
Yeah, because they lost the magic of the original. The original had 3 hyenas that were for the most part equal. Yes, Whoopi Goldberg was kind of the leader, and Ed was kind of the second command. Or no, the one. Yeah, Ed was the one that laughed all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so they hired Eric Andre to be the voice of who would have been Ed, and I didn't want to hear him talk. I just wanted to hear a laughing hyena. Like, the fact that they took 3 stupid hyenas and turned them into 2, and then took the one and made her like this powerful leader of the pack. It pissed me off. Oh, and Scar was fantastic, in my opinion. I forgot to mention him.
What about Rafiki? Rafiki, I thought, was really good too.
Hated it.
Really?
Hated it. No, everybody in this movie, besides Donald Glover, besides Seth Rogen and Scar, felt like they had 0 emotion through the entire movie. And then the thing that I hate about Rafiki, Timon,
awesome.
Billy Eisner didn't do bad, but he wasn't as good as the 3 that I mentioned, in my opinion. Because the issue with Billy Eisner is at moments he was speaking too fast. And I'm like, dude, slow it down a little bit. Like, it, and I get that they're trying to create him as like, he has so many thoughts, like almost like ADHD to a point. And I understand why they did it, but I wanted him. He's not Nathan Lane. See, that's the issue that I had with this movie, as I was comparing every voice actor to the one that did it in the original. Yeah. And I didn't see much of a difference between Donald Glover and Matthew Broderick from the original. Matthew Broderick has like a sleepy way of speaking, which Donald Glover seemed to have a little bit more emotion in when he said certain things. Like when they were on the mountain fighting, I thought that was a really good scene because I thought Donald Glover and Scar played off each other really well. But my biggest complaint has to be Beyonce. So Pharrell Williams produced all the music for this. So he took Hans Zimmer and Elton John's music and reproduced it with all these new singers. And every time Beyonce sang, she just overdid it. It's like, dude, I get your Beyonce. Like, chill. Like, you're overshadowing the person. This isn't Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Beyonce featuring Donald Glover. This is supposed to be Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Beyonce and Donald Glover. Like, no featuring. Like, you guys are both the main stars of the show. Chill out. And then Matt from Absolute Geek brought up a hilarious point. Did anybody else notice that they're singing Can You Feel the Love Tonight in the daytime?
I didn't notice that.
You're right. It doesn't sound as well to say, Can you feel the love today? You got
it just
in the background.
I walked out of that movie just trying to figure out why it was made. Like, it wasn't better than the original in any way. It was not better than the original. If anything, it tainted the original. There were certain inflections that they did in the cartoon that they just didn't do in this movie. And part of it was those two young kids that you could tell did not grow up in the time that the cartoon was out. Because there were certain ways things were said in the cartoon, like when she pins Simba as a cub, and when she tells him, I pinned you again, the way she says that in the cartoon and then the way she says that in the movie pissed me off. It's just not the same. Everybody sounded like they were stoned. Yeah, everybody sounded like they were stoned the entire movie. And then James Earl Jones, I love the idea of them casting the original actor to be the voice of Mufasa, but the dude is too old. And I swear it sounded like he was going to fall over at times. Like,
I didn't get that feeling.
It just no emotion. Like, it seemed like everybody was there just for a paycheck. The only one that sounded like they were having fun was Timon and Pumbaa and Scar. Scar really seemed to get into the character.
Mm-hmm.
Timon wasn't bad. I don't have any complaints about Timon. I just think it wasn't as good as some of the other ones I mentioned. And then Zazu, when they're singing I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Zazu is played by John Oliver. And again, it just sounds like karaoke. I hated it. Aladdin was a much better film.
So I agree. My issue with The Lion King compared to other remakes is that it didn't really do enough different to feel like different. Yes, the hyenas were very different, and they obviously had different voice casts, but it was kind of the exact same movie. Aladdin was different enough. Like, they changed quite a bit. Jasmine's character was very different. You know what I mean? Like, they changed enough. Beauty and the Beast was somewhat different as well. Like, I feel like they changed more in some of these other remakes.
Mulan is supposed to be different.
Mulan looks awesome.
Dumbo was very different. Dumbo is a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, which it shows.
Yeah. But I don't know. I agree. Lion King did not need to be made. I didn't hate it like you did. I liked it. But yeah. So what did you think, Heath?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I haven't seen all the Disney remakes, but even when I go watch them, I don't try to compare them to the originals too much because they're not technically originals. Every other story is based from, well, this one was based off of Hamlet, and nobody goes and watches the other one and think, oh, man,
here's the thing. When I walk in there and they're marketing the original character designs as pop figures and T-shirts and stuff, why Disney's telling me to compare it to the other one?
That's
like
fair.
Every piece of marketing material, the poster in Harkins Theaters has the original cartoon characters on it. Right. So yes, I walk in and I'm like, oh, this is a remake of a cartoon.
And Lion King is also tough because the entire thing is animals, and you can't get lions to act for you. So you have to CGI it.
It'll just end very poorly.
It's different though, because like it's okay. In this scenario, it's harder to remake it and make it feel different. Where with Aladdin and any of the live action ones that have actual people in them, the people look different. Their mannerisms are different. Like, I don't know. It's easier to make it more unique.
I didn't have any issue with the animation. Not really. I mean,
no, the animation was beautiful. I'm just saying that that didn't help. Like when it's another like animated type movie and they're delivering the exact same lines, it was easier for me to compare it than the other ones.
The Lion King.
Yeah, and Lion King, it was easier for me to compare it. Like when I watched Aladdin and heard some of the same lines, for some reason it didn't have the same negative impact that Lion King did at times.
I agree, and I could see what you mean. The whole time that this movie was being promoted, and they kept saying live action remake. I'm like, it's not a live action remake. It's a fancier looking cartoon.
Go watch it.
Hey, want to watch the live action. They filmed it in real landscapes. Sometimes.
I don't give a shit, dude. That movie sucked.
Tell us how you really feel.
You know what? This is great. This is great because there have been a lot of times recently where we talk about a movie and we're all kind of on the same page. So I'm glad that you hated it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I liked it.
I feel like they took a giant shit on my childhood, dude. Like I hated everything about that movie, man. Except Seth Rogen. I like Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen was a lot of fun.
See, I didn't like Seth Rogen as much. I didn't hate him. He was fine. But so they didn't want to recast a lot of the same people because I know that they wanted to cast a lot of African American actors because it's an African setting. That's totally fine. But I don't know why they couldn't go back to the original actors for Timon and Pumbaa when they cast two white guys for Timon and Pumbaa.
I have a feeling that, well, is the actor that played Pumbaa still alive?
You know what? I'm not sure.
Nathan Lade played Timon, and I bet you he didn't want to do it.
Really?
I would put money on that he didn't want to do it. Just because he seems to be the kind of actor that wants to take himself very seriously, and returning to a role that he did 20 years ago does not sound, I don't know, and I could be wrong, but
so Ernie Sabella was Pumbaa.
Who was?
Ernie Sabella. He's old now, if he is even alive. He was born in 49, so.
Oh wow, yeah, he definitely wasn't.
So I guess that would be tough. That would be tough to have him. And then where's Timon? Yeah, right, Nathan Lane. See, but Nathan Lane's a goober.
Yeah,
like Nathan Lane is a very accomplished Broadway actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
super accomplished, and he was in The Producers not too long ago, which is a very well respected Broadway play.
Yeah.
He kind of takes himself a little bit more seriously than some of these other actors. Now, I don't have an issue with Timon and Pumbaa's casting. Timon in the original movie has a sort of goofiness that only Billy Eisner could probably fill, besides Nathan Lane. So I don't have an issue with their castings. It's just I guess the whole movie I just sat there and I was like, is this necessary? Like, is any of this necessary? Why did I spend $40 or however much it was to take my entire family to this movie when I own it on Blu-ray? Like, I don't understand.
How about this though? What did you think about the moment when Timon and Pumbaa are trying to coerce the hyenas and they sing "Be Our Guest"?
I thought it was funny, but I didn't think it was better than what they originally did.
Yeah. I was just surprised. I thought that they were going to do the whole hula hookah hookah, the Hawaiian thing.
Well, and like in the cartoon, like he's wearing a hula skirt and stuff. So obviously, if they're trying to put this in a sense of realism, they couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they didn't sing the song. And if they were going to sing "Be My Guest," it could have been a little bit longer, I guess. Because he got into "Be My" and then they run off. So he didn't really even sing that much of the song.
I think it would have been weird if they sung the whole song. That would have been.
I don't know. I think at this point I was just so pissed off with the movie.
I thought you were just done.
Everything was bad at that point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're good. I think we've talked about this one enough. I'm more excited to talk about Stranger Things anyway. So let's go ahead and give our ratings out of 5 couch cushions. So I'm going to start 3 out of 5. Heath?
I would say 3.5. Yeah, I wouldn't put it at 4.
Lance?
2.
Oh, I thought it was going to be lower.
Right.
Only for the simple fact of I really did enjoy Seth Rogen. I did enjoy him, and I enjoyed. I mean, there were redeeming qualities. It just wasn't. I still sit here now and try to figure out why the hell I watched it. Like,
well, did you like Stranger Things season 3 better?
I loved Stranger Things.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
There we go.
Yeah, that'll put me in a better mood. You put me in a foul mood.
Let's talk about Stranger Things season 3. And again, if you're just joining us, we are going to spoil everything about this. So, yeah.
Hopper's dead. I said it first. Hopper's dead.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I don't believe it.
I'm going to curl up in a ball.
They wanted to think that Hopper's dead. That's
I think that they deliberately planted in our minds that he might not be.
Yeah.
You know, with the whole after credits type scene where it's like, don't get the American, and they don't show you who the American is.
What other
American? Pretty sure it's Hopper.
That's either a fantastic fake out that it's not him. I think that if he is alive, that yes, that is a very clear possibility. But I think it's possible he might be in the Upside Down.
I think that's possible.
Yeah.
I think the American could also be Bob the Brain, potentially.
Yeah.
Like, what if Bob got put into the Upside Down when he got, eaten in season 2, and now they pulled him out or something? Because they were teasing several times throughout season 3 that Bob was going to come back. At least my wife and I thought they were, and then he never did. So, yeah. And maybe that was just wishful thinking on our part, because they had Sean Astin do like a quick scene with her. It was very brief, but they had him in a scene, and then literally in that same episode. It was in the first episode. At the end, or maybe it's the second episode, they show Billy after he gets put in the Upside Down, looking at another Billy face to face. So I'm like, oh, does that mean there's copies of them in the Upside Down? So are we going to get Bob from the Upside Down coming back into this world? Like, to me, that felt like a tease. I may be reading into it too much, but
I would love for Sean Astin to come back.
He's good.
Sean Astin. See, again, pronunciation. Thank you, Lance.
I'm not so sure on his, so don't.
Austin.
I think Austin has a U in it, so
and yeah, it doesn't. Sean Astin.
Then it's probably Astin.
I think is how you spell it. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Stranger Things season 3.
Hold on. I have a YouTube video that says how to pronounce it. I'm gonna play it live so everybody can hear.
All right.
Oh, that won't work. I'm wearing headphones. I'm stupid.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, are you too? Anyway, well, while you figure that out, what do you think, Heath? What did you think of the season overall?
Overall, I really enjoyed it. I love the development of all the characters. I love the fact that Elle and Max.
I firmly say that it's Sean Astin.
Okay.
So I love the friendship between Elle and Max. I thought that was just adorable. I loved the fact that when they first meet each other.
Is that what we're calling it?
What were you calling it?
Wait. Oh, Max, the girl. I was thinking Will for a second.
No.
I was like, that dude has down that girl's throat.
You're thinking of Will.
No, but I thought that was just really cool because when they first meet, Elle is just like, "You're not taking my man," and then as time goes on, they definitely become more friendly. And then, like in episode 2, is when they have their whole girls' day out, and I thought that was just so much fun just to see Elle, who has a lot of childhood trauma and was really never able to be a little girl, and now she has a friend that she can just be a girl with, and I thought that was a really sweet thing. At least that was one of the first things I'm like, okay, that's really nice. Yeah, that's it, close up.
I'm just showing knives off.
And
I wanted to hold the knife. Makes me feel powerful.
Right? Well, that's why I always carry a couple. But and then Billy was my heart goes out to Billy. He just a a poor kid in a horrible situation. There's nothing else that can really be said about him.
They tried to redeem Billy, but he's still a jackass.
He is.
I thought that he was a much more had more depth to him this season than he did last. Last season, I was trying to figure out why he existed, to tell you the truth.
And he got a little bit of a redemption, a little bit. I think the reason that I couldn't see past it still was because my wife and I rewatched everything. So we had just finished season 2 and then watched season 3. And season 2, he's a freaking jerk. Like he's a racist punk. Like, and so the redemption didn't work for me because I just got off of seeing him like that. You know what I mean? I think if I hadn't watched season 2 recently, I might have been more open to the redemption arc. But seeing how it only took place like 6 months after season 2, I couldn't get into the redemption arc. Like, yes, he's got trauma. There was a little bit of like sympathy for him, but I'm like, you're still just a jerk.
He is racist, so yeah, that can't be apologized. But yeah,
right.
So, but Billy was good. Like, I was glad to see him in that role. I think that because you grew to hate him in season 2, seeing him as a villain was like
is appropriate,
kind of fun, and appropriate. I liked the whole him trying to seduce Mike's mom thing at the beginning there, and all those old 80s women, not old, like middle aged. They're not that much older than I am technically.
I was about to say,
but all those middle-aged 80s women like pining after this teenage boy,
just like
that was kind of creepy. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's like,
dude. Will's mom's kind of hot, dude.
She is a very attractive woman. Yeah,
I'm gonna put that out there. Yeah. I saw her on the screen. I'm like, oh, I need to look who this is up.
I don't agree with you, but that's okay,
dude.
I agree with you, Lance. I'm right
someday you're gonna get a little older, and these older, attractive ladies are gonna appeal to you more.
I don't think it has anything to do with older. That's not the issue.
Well, soon you graduate from finding 20-year-olds attractive.
This coming from the guy who said Nancy's hot.
Nancy is
like
hot.
20 years old, dude. The actress.
So for me, yeah, she's very attractive.
Yeah, you're
I'm right at that perfect age.
No, but I thought that. Okay, so let's just like go dissect this a bit. So one of the things at the beginning of the show is you see Mike and 11 constantly making out, and Hopper freaking out about it because he's got his teenage daughter now who's making out with her boyfriend, but they're not giving them 3 inches in the door, and then he like rehearses this speech.
Hey, that's not appropriate.
What's not appropriate?
3 inches in the door. Come on, dude. The sexual innuendos.
I was thinking that too.
Goodness gracious.
They're children, Max.
Anyway, killing me over here, dude. But like Hopper was so relatable. Like I get it. Like I haven't had teenage girls really, but like I get it. Like he's being so protective of this girl. He hasn't really had her as his quote unquote daughter for that long. And so he's like freaking out, wanting to talk to her, and then he ends up just scaring the crap out of Mike. And then you see like how happy he is that it worked. He's like, yes, it worked. I really liked that. There were some things that they did with Hopper that I didn't like, but I did like that. Like I think they made him far too goofy, and that was kind of bugging me how just silly they made him throughout the season. But those moments were so.
How so?
He was just kind of a bumbling idiot a lot of times. And he was just kind of like a bully.
That's how he's been since I feel like since season 1 that he got thrusted into a situation that he's not capable of. You know what I mean? But he tries to find ways to be capable of it. And I feel like that's kind of what he did this season. But this season, he's clouded a little bit more because he has a teenage girl living in his home. Then he's also worried about that. But ever since the first season, it's like he didn't want to be a part of it and then became a part of it and tried to figure out a way with coping to be a part of it, and just kind of like had constant missteps. Like there was never really that moment that you look at Hopper and you're like, hey, this guy's really well put together. He never is well put together.
No,
he's not. But at the same time, in season 1, he is like on top of stuff. Like he's investigating, he's breaking in, he's beating the crap out of security guards. Like he's a good detective. Like he was doing a great
More
job.
action hero.
Well, you remember that Joyce has to go to him constantly and urge him to even do those things. So you remember that Joyce went to him. Is it Joyce?
At first, but once he started realizing something was up, he started taking initiative. And then in season 2, I thought he did pretty well too. So like, I don't know, season 3, he just seemed like they made him fatter for some reason. And like,
Well, he turned into an alcoholic.
It's true, but I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know. I guess you could make an argument for him turning into an alcoholic because of all the trauma and stuff. But I thought he was just so much cooler in seasons 1 and 2. And then in this one, he kept getting beat up. Granted, that one freaking Russian guy looked like Terminator. Like
He honestly
I think they were going for that. Like he was just as strong as a freaking Terminator.
Oh, but I have no doubt that that's what they were going to, because the 80s nostalgia was full overload in this movie.
Yeah, that's always everything. Well, not movie, but TV show.
TV show. But I don't know. I thought this was my favorite version of Hopper. I felt like I could see more of myself in this version of Hopper, as far as the dad that's always trying to do the right thing, but the situation is always just a little bit more than what he's capable of, and then tries to find a way to be capable. I don't know. I liked it.
Okay. What did you think, Heath?
For Hopper, I agree. I liked the fact that he's just trying to be a father again. And after the last season, everybody's like, finally, we're done with the monsters. We're done with the government. We're done with all this stuff. I can relax. I can try to be a father. I can try to figure out life again. Try to gain more of an interest in Joyce and try to gain a connection there. And so because of that, he's trying to become a normal person again. And he doesn't need to worry about these things again. And then Joyce is like, no, everything's wrong again. And he's just like, you've got to be kidding me. We've got to do this again?
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I guess I could see that. I can see that. So let's talk about how there are all these different story arcs, right? You know, because we had Hopper and Joyce off doing their thing, and I thought their story was cool. I enjoyed that. And I liked like Alexi. Oh, Alexi was so cute.
Alexi was fun.
Alexi.
He likes classic cartoons.
Alexi what?
Is this season's Barb?
Yeah, I guess, but he got more screen time.
You're right.
But yeah, you're right. But yeah, you had that story arc. You had Dustin with Steve and that new girl that I'm blanking on her name. And then Sophie.
Lucas' sister?
Well, her too. She's like
Robin.
Sophie.
Oh,
Robin.
you're talking about the girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Susie?
Girlfriend.
What girl that you're blanking on the name?
Steve and that other girl, Robin.
Oh, Robin.
Yeah.
Robin. Yeah. Who I loved her. I want to say
She was great.
She was
awesome.
awesome.
But like that story arc was one, and then they had the boys and 11 and Max kind of doing their thing. You had and then you finally had Nancy and Jonathan.
Yeah,
team up with them. Like Nancy and Jonathan weren't off on their own for too long. Maybe like half of the season, but
yeah,
I liked how it all came together and how they all had their own story arcs. Dustin and Steve are just so perfect together that I was glad that they kept going with that.
Robin, Dustin, and Steve were probably my favorite part of the entire show.
Agreed.
Just because I think Robin and Steve are really good, like they play off of each other really well.
I agree.
And I think Dustin and Steve play off each other really well. And then Dustin's kind of like that annoying little brother. He's like, dude, kiss her.
Yeah.
She turned out to be lesbian, I guess, which I did not see that coming, because earlier in the movie, she says how she was like obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And then it turned out it wasn't him that came out of left field. Like,
I didn't expect that either.
Yeah, that was
I didn't feel like it was a natural part of the story. Like I'm okay with them being homosexual if it seems like a natural progression. Like Valkyrie and Thor seems like that makes sense, But Robin, like, they lead you to believe the entire show that she's straight and that she's into Steve, and then finally you get that culmination where Steve like gets it. And they're like, oh, just kidding, she's lesbian. It just feels a little bit like pandering to the audience.
A little bit.
I thought that was kind of weird because the whole time I'm like, oh, they're going to be,
And I was hoping
together.
Because Steve is such a great character and he deserved a good girl.
I know, freaking Nancy.
Yeah,
I don't like Jonathan as much.
have an issue with any of them being gay. I just want to
Yeah.
put that out there. It's just it seemed weird for her character and the progression they were trying to lead you to believe was happening.
Yeah, so before I saw the show, I saw an article saying Stranger Things season 3 introduces their first LGBTQ character, and so when I started watching the show, I was like, oh, it's Will.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting. Yeah, I wasn't expecting her.
Wait, Will?
Yeah, Will.
Oh shoot! I keep getting Will and Mike mixed up.
Yeah, no, Will, because Mike says that thing where he's like, "You don't even like girls," and yeah. But
I was like, oh,
which Will makes total sense because that seems like a natural progression to his character. I'd be totally okay with that. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care when they're gay. But Robin just seemed out of left field.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Steve deserves a little bit of happiness, and I feel like Robin would have been the perfect catalyst for that happiness.
It is nice that they stay friends, though. They don't like, oh, you're a lesbian. I guess we can't hang out as.
And I'm over it. It's just in the moment. In the moment, it was like I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
I was almost disappointed because I wanted them to get together. I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
but, that's okay.
So Robin is actually plays a small role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, cool.
And it's actually a pretty funny scene that she's in. So
nice. So I want to talk about this moment in the show. So we talked about Will and how Mike says to him, "You don't even like girls," because Will was really upset. Like, Will is such an interesting character to me because he is clearly so traumatized, understandably. Season 1, he gets freaking captured for a week, which is crazy that it's only like a week. But
he's like, a week?
Yeah, it's only like a week.
Huh.
Because they talk about that in season 2 that he was only like gone, because the town thinks he was lost in the forest for a week, when the reality was he was in the Upside Down. So that was only a week, but that's a lifetime of trauma.
What was he, like 11?
Yeah, like 11 or 12 years old.
Young.
And then the next year, he freaking gets possessed by a demon, and then so now he thinks life is better because 11's closed the gate. He thinks he's good, and he's like trapped. Like, this is totally legit. Like, with psychology, like, he gets trapped at that young age of like 12. His friends are now more like 14 years old, 15-ish years old at this point. Yeah. He still wants to play D&D. Not that you can't. I mean, you play D&D. You're a grown man, and I know a lot of adults that play D&D, and that's fine.
Cameron and Jay are probably doing that right now,
and that's fine. Like, nothing wrong with playing.
That's
D&D.
what my group's doing right now.
Yeah, but like, they don't want to. Like, they're kind of growing out of it. They are focused more on girls.
Girlfriends.
Yeah,
they have committed relationships.
Yeah. So like, they're kind of growing up in that way, and they don't want to play. They're not focused on that. And poor Will's just over here. He wants to be a kid. You know what I mean? He just wants to have fun. But the moment I want to talk about is when he finally gets fed up and he goes and he just knocks down, Castle Byers, which I thought was really sad. I was like, oh, poor kid, man. He's been through so much, and now he feels like now he feels like his friends are like leaving him. And what did you guys think about that moment?
I thought that in the first 2 seasons, his character annoyed the crap out of me. Him and his mother, for the most part.
Joyce.
And Winona Ryder still annoys the crap out of me in this season. But I thought that this season, Will became before it seemed like he was just kind of there. That, yes, it seemed like they were trying to make his character part of the story, but the story always seemed to revolve around 11 and Mike, even in the first 2 seasons. And Will, like, the trauma that Will was going through was kind of like an afterthought almost, because it was always revolving around 11. This season, however, though, you really start to gain an emotional connection to Will, because you're seeing that the pain that he's going through, and you're seeing the aftermath, and you're seeing the separation of him and his mother as well a little bit. To where Will's finally becoming kind of his own character rather than Joyce's kid. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Overall, I kind of do agree with that. I feel like his character in the first 2 seasons were good because he played the victim. So there wasn't as much of a need to take too much time on with him, if that makes sense. Just because their goal is to try to save him and they don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
Even like the doctor, like I really feel bad for that doctor because the mother is yelling at him, "Fix my son, fix my son, fix my son."
The doctor you're talking about, Paul Reiser?
From season 2?
From season 2, yeah.
Like the one that shows up at the end of season 3?
Correct.
Okay.
And he's just like, I don't know how. I'm doing everything I can. I just don't know how. And so when season 2 comes around and he is more there, you can see a little more of his. What?
Season 3, you mean? Like that he's more there?
Well, season 2 and season 3.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Like season 2, he plays a much bigger role.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even that, he's like unconscious for the last 2 episodes.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I like how in the 3rd season, he kind of played off like the expert. He's like, this happened to me. Here's what we need to do to fix it. And I like how it became a little bit more of like I was the victim. Now I'm going to try to save other people so they don't have to go through what I went through.
Yeah, I liked that because in season 2, things were clearly happening, but he wasn't telling anybody.
As a kid would.
And you're right, as a kid would. But like, we're sitting here watching it like, kid, tell people what's going on.
Well, and even in the first half of this season, he's not telling anybody. Like his hairs are standing up on the back of his neck, like something's wrong, and he knows something's wrong.
But like, it was more subtle. I feel like it was about 3 times. It was like on the 3rd time that he's like, okay, I gotta say something, and then he did. I feel like this time it was better. Like the first couple times, he probably just thought, I'm just getting chills on the back of my neck. This is weird. Like, what the heck? And then the 3rd time he acknowledged it and was like, all right, I need to say something. I think he did better this time. And then he was a valuable asset. He kept, he would tell them, ooh, I feel something on my neck. He's coming. Like he was helpful.
It was his Peter tingle.
Yeah.
The poor spider sense. It's so good, though.
Well, I think that's good on Will. Let's talk a bit about Mike and 11. What do you guys think about their relationship and their arc?
Horny teenagers.
Yeah, for sure. I liked so we'll add Max into this mix. I liked 11 and Max hanging out for like those first 4 episodes essentially. I really enjoyed Max is such a cynical little girl and like she's just so funny. I really like her. Mm-hmm. She got a great name. And
it's okay. It's acceptable.
But
we have like 30 Maxes.
That's so funny, dude.
I don't know why you find that so funny. I don't care. My name is dual gender. It's fine with me. But Max and 11's relationship was really fun, and she's like telling her all this stuff, like, "Oh, boys suck," and and 11 then goes and spies on Mike and the other boys, and I love that whole they're a different species thing because I remember when I was that age, and that's what I thought. I mean, even to this day, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what women are thinking. I don't get it. It's
still a different species.
It's still a different species. And if you're listening to this, hon, if you're spying on me, I love you so much. No, but so that was cool. I loved that. The whole spying on her thing and species. He's saying we're a different species, and Max saying you need to dump his A and all that stuff. And I liked that 11 could talk better this time. Yeah, that was nice. She was still you could still tell like she's behind. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know stuff. But I liked that she could talk better.
She formed full sentences. So I'm sure Kelsey liked that.
Which reminds me, Will at one point says, "You know that feeling when like you're going on a roller coaster and your stomach like gets in a knot, and like 3 people say, yeah, and then it goes to 11. No. Oh, okay. Poor 11. Anyway, I digress. This was, I was just talking about 11 and Max, or 11 and Mike. But I liked their arc. I thought it was interesting. It was very horny teenagers. I agree. Yeah. But, Mike clearly cares about her, and he really wanted to get her back. And he didn't want to lie to her to be mean. He was just afraid of Hopper.
I like the 2 of them, but I have to admit this is not the property that I'm most excited to see Finn Wolfhard in.
Yeah, you want to see him in it?
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to be in it too, though, is he?
Yeah, they have flashbacks.
Oh, okay.
He's listed as a main character.
Oh, I didn't realize. That's cool.
But
anyway, so yeah, Stranger Things season 3 is really good, and we can't not talk about Hopper. Like, I know we mentioned it at the beginning, but let's talk more about Hopper and his death, and like all the deaths. Who else died? Billy, Hopper.
Billy died, Hopper.
I think that was it, right?
Just the
Alexi, duh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bring Alexi back.
Right? It's okay. Speaking of the Mind Flayer, I'm going to share my screen real quick, and Heath, you can speak to this because
I actually play D&D.
Where is it? Okay, whatever. I'm just going to share my screen because I can't. All right. So, can you see that, Lance?
Yeah, zoom in a little bit.
All right, I'll zoom in a bit.
So, like was stated, I play D&D, and I was rewatching the show to get ready for season 3. And now that I know D&D, I'm critiquing how they play and everything like that. And I was thinking, that's not what a Mind Flayer looks like. If for those of you who don't know or didn't catch what it looked like in the show, it's basically Dumbledore with Davy Jones's faces from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Find it.
That's kind of like what a Mind Flayer looks like. And so I'm like, there's got to be something from D&D that looks like this monster, a flesh and bone and mouths. It's creepy. And so
all right, let me pull this up. Here is what the Mind Flayer actually looks like. It doesn't want to work. There we go. So the Mind Flayer, I hate when it does that. This is what the Mind Flayer in D&D actually looks like. So like he says, like freaking Davy Jones on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Creepy monsters.
Yeah.
Fun to fight.
But this is what it looks more like in the actual TV show. And what is this character's name in Dungeons & Dragons?
It's called a Blithering Mouther. I think it's how it's pronounced. Stupid name, honestly, but just creepy to look at. Because seriously, it's nothing but mouths and eyes and flesh.
This is when they grow up and they like creep along the ground.
So when they name it this, did they know what it looked like? Because I'm pretty sure the only reason they call it Mind Flayer is because it takes over people's minds.
Yeah, which is an ability that they have in D&D. So, but I just thought this was kind of interesting to kind of show like how much D&D kind of inspired these monsters, which was a really cool thing.
Well, isn't that the Demogorgon comes from that too, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about that image that he found because it does look very similar to like how when the rats and people blow up and they start like going along the floor, oozing into the new one. Kind of looked a lot like that thing right there. But just in general, what did you guys think of the look of the monster?
Horrifying.
I thought it looked cool.
Really cool.
Loved it.
The effects were really good.
It's like walking vomit.
Yeah. No, that's what I thought. Every single time it came on the screen, I'm like, that must smell awful. It's immediately body decomposing into a puddle that moves. It's like that would be the thing I kind of wish they kind of touched on more. Not be like every single second comes up, oh my gosh, it stinks, but more of just like the first reaction with Nancy and Jonathan, like as it just goes like they just kind of cover up their nose for a little second and just to kind of give more of how scary this creature would be. Because what happens anytime we smell something bad, we look for it and see like, okay, what's going on? And if anybody does pest control, you're like, oh no, something's dead at the bottom of somebody's house.
Right.
So I'm thinking that's the one critique of the very minor critique that I have for the show. I kind of wish they just pointed that out a little bit. But overall, how everything moved, how it was like a spider, but how focused it was on just killing everything was horrifying and beautiful.
Well, they felt helpless at so many moments. Like 11 was extremely powerful.
Oh yeah.
Like that moment when she pushes Billy back into the sauna wall and like, they like hold him in, but then, the Mind Flayer gets her at one point and it gets like a little piece of it inside of her leg and she has to yank it out. And then she kind of loses her powers after that. Yeah. Like 11 was really powerful, but she couldn't stand up to it, which made I really liked that about this season because in season 1 and 2, 11 was kind of the hero that came in and saved the day.
Captain Marvel.
Kind of, but a lot more vulnerable. Like Captain Marvel can't like be hurt and 11 still can. But like she's awesome. I love her, but it was nice to see someone else save the day, which was Jim this time. 11 was a hero. She saved a lot of moments, but she didn't end up saving the day. Steve, right? Yeah, Steve had a good moment to save the day when Nancy was about to get hit by Billy's car, and then he came in and smacked him.
Awesome.
That was a really cool moment. Steve's just awesome.
Steve is so good.
He came off as such a jerk the first part of season 1. And then ever since then, he's been great, and I love him. So I really, really liked this season. I've loved all of them, but it was better than season 2 in my opinion.
Oh, it was far better than season 2. The little Warriors side story that they tried to deal with 11 meeting the other experiments or whatever, that was so stupid. It was absolutely stupid. But the humor was better in this season as well. Just the performances in general. And that might play a big role in the fact that the kids are older now.
You speak about humor. Can we talk real quick about Dustin's girlfriend?
Susie?
Yes.
the Mormon from Utah.
And then when she makes him sing the never-ending story. Oh my gosh. They're in crisis mode.
And they're just like,
and here they are singing and harmonizing beautifully. By the way, he sings very good.
Well, he started out as a Broadway actor.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched an episode of Hot Ones that he was on, and they talked about that.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Like, that was so hilarious.
Like, the Mind Flayers in the background, like reenacting Jurassic Park, they're driving away from it, and the Mind Flayers like, and then they're just like,
singing the
never-ending story. They're not even paying attention to the monster that will eat them.
You keep seeing everyone's faces, and Jim Hopper's like, what the hell is going on here?
It's a nice little soundtrack for the moment.
Right?
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Funny story. They're singing Never-Ending Story, and then soon after the season premiered, it's talking about how next season the show will end.
What show's ending?
Stranger Things. After next season.
Season 4 is the end?
That's what they're saying. That could get season 5, but they're saying season 4 is most likely the end.
I'm okay with that, but I didn't realize that they had announced.
So it's really not the Never-Ending Story.
Right.
Did you guys call the phone number?
No. What phone number?
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, so Murray Bauman, he's the guy that translates for Alexi with Hopper and Joyce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a phone number that you call where it has a little, Stranger Things Easter egg. You guys haven't called it?
No.
Let's call it right now.
You want to put it on your speaker?
I'm gonna call it right now.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah,
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Hi, you have reached the residence of Murray Bauman. Mom, if this is you, please hang up and call me between the hours of 5 and 6 p.m. as previously discussed, okay? If this is Joyce, thank you for calling. I've been trying to reach you. I have an update. It's about, it's probably best if we speak in person. It's not good or bad, but it's something. Now, if this is anyone but my mother or Joyce, well, you think you're real clever getting my number, don't you? Well, here's some breaking news for you. You're not clever. You're not special. You are simply one of the many, many nimwits to call here, and the closest you will ever get to me is this pre-recorded message. So, at the beep, do me a favor. Hang up and never call here again. You are a parasite. Thank you and good day.
Sorry, this mailbox is full and cannot accept any more recordings. Thank you for using the voicemail system. Goodbye.
So
that's because it wasn't a 555 number. That's awesome.
I'm surprised you guys didn't.
It didn't even click with me.
That you guys didn't hear that story about that.
No.
But there's a rumor that he's calling to let Joyce know that Hopper is alive.
He totally is. He is.
Because why else would he be calling Joyce, right?
Right.
Yeah, so let's go through that then. So what happens is Hopper is kind of in that area with the big machine that's opening up the gate to the upside down. He's fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger, essentially, the Terminator. And it's so predictable that he was going to kick him into the machine.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool.
How could you not?
Yeah.
It's a giant machine. You must kill somebody.
Kicks him into the
machine. A giant machine.
Yeah. Also, Stranger Things Season 3 surprised me. They had their first F word, and it's a TV-14 show.
Right.
But
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
All the people that are upset that they were smoking on screen on a TV-14 show, if your kid is subjected to smoking because he watched this show, you're an idiot. So teach your kids not to smoke. All these parents are up in arms because these people were smoking on the show. It's set in the 80s.
Yeah.
Everybody smoked. Everybody.
It was
So
a cool thing.
let me get off my soapbox. But teach your kids not to smoke. Don't worry about a television show.
I agree.
Yeah, but
I agree. Do you need to teach your kids
I
not to
digress.
smoke because they kill people on TV?
Right. It's absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid.
Yeah, no, you teach your kids right and wrong, not television. Anyway, yeah, so like he's in there, he kills the guy, and then he can't get out.
On,
yeah, he can't get out. Joy shuts the machine down. He's trapped inside. It appears that he dies, but the reality, because we see like when she shuts the machine down, all those people kind of like turn to dust essentially.
They never shows him.
But you never see his body, and just like turning to dust, maybe it just boom threw them into the upside down. We don't know. Like maybe all those guards are elsewhere, or maybe it transported them to Russia. Like maybe that after credit scene where you see that person getting pulled into the pit, maybe that was with the Demogorgon. Maybe that was one of the Russians that got turned into dust. When she did that. Like we don't know. It could be that Jim Hopper's dead. They had a funeral for him. Everyone thinks he's dead. But I think they left a pretty big Easter egg there that he's not.
Yeah. And
I hope he's not, because I'm sitting there like, I don't usually get very emotional about characters dying, but I actually got a little bit like emotional. I almost cried. I was like, no, not Jim. No, not Jim. Not Jim.
I got a little emotional when Eleven's reading the letter.
Yeah, that was the part that was rough.
That was so hard.
Because it was so sweet.
Right.
And how she just acted when she was reading it.
Well, and you're a dad.
It was so genuine.
Like you know that feeling of loving your daughter, So
and this isn't even like a kid that's been with him for very long. So it's like the love that he feels towards her is so strong, and you can cut it with a knife. You know what I mean? Like you watch how he's so like concerned about the relationship between her and Mike and all these other things. Like he has that love for her. And if I'm not mistaken, she's only lived there for like a year or two. Like not a long time. And to love her like you have like since the day she was born, it was like you feel it.
And I can relate to that. I've mentioned on the show before that my wife and I were foster parents.
Yeah.
We had several kids that we grew to love deeply. The last two girls of which like we really, really cared for. We thought we were going to get to adopt them, and then they were, sent back to their family, which I won't get into the details of that on the show. But I can relate to Jim Hopper because it's the same idea for me. Like they were not my kids biologically, but I loved them so much.
And when I was listening and read that letter and everything, your guys' situation was immediately what popped in my mind, and I just thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, so like I can relate to that on a very personal level, because to this day, those girls have been gone about a year and a half now from our home.
Wow,
it's been that long. To this day, if I were to get a phone call saying, "Hey, they need your help, come down to Arizona," I would get on a plane right now. I would be there because we love them. So I get it. So that was a very real scene to me. Maybe that's why I got extra emotional, is because I relate to it so deeply. But it was just a really good season. I didn't like some of Jim's character, but other than that, I don't really have any complaints about the season. I thought it was top notch. Stranger Things is so well written, produced, acted, like so well done.
Well, yeah, just the sci-fi and the nostalgia, and the fact that all of these kids are very good actors. All of them,
really good.
And you can see how they've grown, especially since I just rewatched everything. I've seen their growth as actors, and they were good, when they first started.
Lucas wasn't that good.
He's gotten a lot better. He's
a lot better now. But in the first season, he wasn't that good. He was probably the weakest link. But now they're all very good.
Well, Lucas was just always mad in the first season.
Right.
Actually, he didn't have any other emotion but angry.
Yeah.
Right.
Great character arc. Just I'm angry.
Yeah. Lucas is a lot better now. I liked his arc with Mike and him giving Mike advice and stuff.
Oh yeah, because they're seasoned, boyfriends.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he's like, I've been broken up with a ton of times. I know how to do this.
It's like that's not a good thing to say.
Yeah, I've won Max back a ton of times. Yeah, because she's freaking manipulating you.
Right. It's that ginger soul.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they're going to start filming season 4 in October, I guess.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully we'll get another season sooner
All right.
rather than later.
So predictions. What holiday does season 4
I was just
come
about to
out?
ask.
I'm going to guess Labor Day.
If it was a big one, well, it would have to be something in the summer or the fall. I mean, because there's no way they could get it out in time for spring.
Arbor Day.
So Arbor Day. So it would either be 4th of July again, or it would be Halloween.
Well,
What
they
if,
did Halloween in season 2.
They did Halloween season 2, they did 4th of July season 3, and Christmas in season 1.
Mhm.
So Thanksgiving?
Well, Thanksgiving was kind of it was hinted at the end of season 3 when they're like, I can come down for Thanksgiving. They totally hinted that.
Ooh. Maybe that is what happens. Maybe they come down that
Yeah,
next,
that would make sense.
Yeah.
especially if they're filming it already. So that means they're going to be similar age looking already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be with you on Thanksgiving, so the 4 of us can binge it together.
Oh, it's not going to be this Thanksgiving. But maybe next Thanksgiving.
I'm an idiot.
But
I can see it coming out next Thanksgiving.
They hint to a holiday as Thanksgiving because they don't even mention Christmas. Because I even thought that when I was watching that, it's like you could also come down during Christmas.
Did they say where they moved?
I think it does earlier in the season, but I can't remember.
I can't remember where they were moving.
I don't remember.
Where is Hawkins anyway?
Minnesota?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I thought it was like
Indiana?
that. Sounds more like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hawkins.
Hawkins, Indiana. I think you're right. That sounds right. Anyway, all right. So I think that's going to do it for us. Let's give our ratings, and then we'll do our sign outs and
Yep, Indiana.
Indiana. So let's start with you, Lance. What would you rate this?
4.5 out of 5.
What about you, Heath?
Same thing because there's no such thing as a perfect show, but this was very good.
Well, 5 doesn't mean perfect.
Supernatural is that perfect show. Just to let you know.
5 doesn't mean perfect.
Right.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to give it a 5. I really didn't like some of Jim Harper's arc. So I also agree 4.5 out of 5.
Perfect.
Well, so we agree. Much better than Lion King.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I only wish that I saw Stranger Things after I saw Lion King so it could wash that dirty taste out of my mouth.
Well, you went to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood after. That should cleanse your
Yes, let me talk briefly on that. The movie is fantastic. I'm not going to give any spoilers since it just came out this weekend and Max and Heath have not seen it, but it is a fantastic movie. I have a review about it on couchcrunchers.com. Please go check it out and go watch the movie. It's very good. And I tried really hard not to be too spoiler in my review. So go watch the movie. Quentin Tarantino is just a phenomenal director and writer. And this movie is no different than anything else he's ever come out with. It's just wonderful. It's almost 3 hours, though. So just be warned.
Really?
Like I said,
long?
Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie.
It's like 2 hours,
Do it.
2.5, 2 hours, 45 minutes, something like that. It's a long movie.
That's a
But
long.
it's so good.
61 minutes. Yeah, that's long.
It's so good, man. Like it's the performances, like there's not a single bad performance in this entire show. Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt are just, the two of them together are just so wonderful, dude.
Is it typical Tarantino or is it different?
It's not like Inglourious Bastards or any of those, where this movie has a lot of humor in it. There's the character development, like you start to feel, I don't know, it's different than the other ones, but it still has that Tarantino vibe to it.
Okay. Nice, man.
So
sounds like it's a good movie. I saw you gave it a 4 out of 5, so you clearly liked it.
yeah, and that's my kind of movie from that genre too. So from the 70s and stuff like that, like, and the Charlie Manson murders are one of the most infamous events to ever happen in American history. And so to see an alternate telling of that event was it was really cool.
Nice. Well, it sounds really good. So check it out, Crunchers. With that, we're going to close up the show. Thanks so much for coming on, Heath. It was great to have you.
Thanks for having me. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Tell our listeners where they can find us, Max.
Well, you guys can find Heath if you want to follow him on Instagram at Nerdy Heathen, right?
Correct.
So if you want to follow him, I know you post some nerdy stuff up there and whatnot.
Every once in a while, yeah.
We can be followed on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, at Couch Crunchers. Like us on YouTube, subscribe over there. Follow us on all those social media platforms. We're always posting funny memes and articles, and you can come check us out on the website, couchcrunchers.com. And of course, subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, you already are. If you're watching on YouTube and you enjoy just hearing voices, go subscribe on your favorite podcast provider.
Just think of the podcast as like better than the YouTube because you don't have to see our ugly faces.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, and if you're interested in writing for our website, and you have like original ideas and stuff like that and things you want to write about, we are always interested in bringing in new writers. So and then we give you full credit for your articles and everything like that. So please reach out to Max or myself or Sam and Tyler. info@couchcrunchers.com is the email address. So just please reach out to us. We're going to be in Tucson as well for Comic-Con. And then we're going to be out there, I believe, with the Absolute Geek guys, which we're doing a lot of stuff with them. So please check out their podcast as well. And I don't know, anything else that I'm missing, Max?
No, I think that'll do it for us. So thanks for listening, and nerds out.